Hey guys, back for the vid. It's kind of a little familiar. It's the second part of that. Mini series, you want to say, of the two games I had, kind of very similar, how they played out to an extent. From the same spawns, not quite the same matchmaking. The other one we were top tier. This one we're mid tier, but still not bad. Only like 4 or 5 tier 9s on their team, so really still good matchmaking for a tier 8 light tank. And kind of similar to the Hawk 12, I was kind of going to try to 3 mark both these tanks. Again, that's been done, so both these tanks now have 3 marks. And yeah, so we're gonna play the beginning of this game pretty similar. We're gonna go to about the same spot and try to make the same kind of plays as soon as my... Yep, there we go. Damn, it's like we teleported. Yeah. So, that's something that can get taken from these two vids, I guess, or at least the beginning of it, without trying to repeat myself, they're doing the same thing, is that in tanks you can become a creature of habit. Even myself, in light tanks, and going to the same spots over and over again. And that's just because, well, they work. Some of the spots work really well. But they can get you into trouble. And I'm not saying you shouldn't use them. But they can get you into trouble if someone on the other team knows about the spot, recognizes you, and knows what you'd like to do. This probably applies more to myself. Because of, well, the vids that show what I like to do a lot of the time. So, going to these initial positions, especially certain bushes, like on proc per se, or something like that, or even there's a bush on Miravenka that's also kind of similar, if you know what I'm talking about. In that they're pretty obvious of where I'm going to be at least in the beginning of the game. So, I'm not saying don't use them, but just be aware, and this goes myself too, that somebody may know what you're doing ahead of time, or have a good idea of where they're getting lit up from, because that's even something I apply to my gameplay all the time, is if I'm in another tank class, or even a light tank, if I get lit up, and I kind of have an idea of where somebody is, and I don't see anything lighting me up it's already spotted, I will generally check the well-known positions first. Especially if I'm not in an autoloader and I have a tank that has a lot of rounds of ammo, I will fire blind shots into bushes or spots where I'm fairly confident that there could be a tank at. Also amazing I didn't lose any health there, but it's just something to think about. Again, I'm not advocating you not use positions, again, but it's just something to think about in the long run of the game, basically. But you can see this game is unfolded a little bit differently. It's a little more chaotic here in the beginning. I'm kind of not surrounded, but I need to get out of that kind of area and fall back, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Getting under the cover, getting behind some solid cover for me, and just trying to rework the map. I know we're losing right now 2-6, and they've basically won the other flank and have pushed our base. So it's really what I'd like to do, but again, it's kind of risky doing that, and they have so many tanks on that side of the map. Basically, their entire team is on that one side. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, it's midnight when I'm recording this. But yeah. So at that point, there's 3 already in the game. Pretty logical idea. Let's go take out the scumbags, or at least make them start the reposition and scatter a little bit, to give our team a little break from the already bombardment from the back of their base. So it's kind of more a patience game at this point. of just trying to choose the shots. And really, these shots aren't hitting, so I really should stop firing at this point. But, you know, sometimes you do what you do. And you can see again, at the end of the game, I again apologize, we're the vision. Again, we've already lost half our health exactly at this point. And really, the gun on this thing isn't fantastic at this kind of range. It's only 180 alpha and about, I think it's 170 pen with AP. I've actually upped the APCR amount on this now, I believe, up to 24. Just to give me that 6 clips of ammo. Just more consistent. And at this point, I actually saw their tank or turtle going around the castle, and always take the opportunity to secure that view range and spotting. Same thing. Advantage in these close games like this. So we're able to take him off the board, and hopefully that should give us vision control, and hopefully we can spot the people that are more than likely going to be heading to their cap. It's kind of amazing they haven't started capping yet. They're going to, especially when you see shots coming from our base area, it looks like. But at this point, I'm going to start loading some of the APCR rounds to secure damage at that point. That's when I really dip into APCR, is when I'm obviously fighting tier 10s and stuff like that. It's obvious. But in lights, when I need to secure the damage and make sure the shots count, especially in these games where, yeah, we kill a tank and then we lose a tank, kill a tank and lose a tank, and eventually we're going to lose that battle. And the only good thing is a lot of their tanks, the most mobile one at this point in the game is their medium, the cruncher. So again, you can also argue, I think one of the TDs is the Yak Panther 2, I believe, or no, it's Charioteer. I gotta look at the team list again, but again, just controlling that vision. I know I've mentioned it in several vids, but it's so important. There you go, Charioteer, to securing the, giving yourself the best chance to win in these situations in light tanks. Really any tank with any kind of decent kind of vision. And now here, I really have to be patient. I know I'm kind of up on myself here, and I don't know where their Charioteer is, so I don't want to fire at him yet. I actually try to use the bush, but I don't really have a shot there because of the way the ground is going. And at that point, I feel like I'm out of the view range at 390 meters with my crew and all the bells and whistles. So I started firing. Before, they were about 330 meters or so. So that was definitely going to get lit up unless I was using a bush properly. But again, I tried that and I couldn't get the angle with the bush. So just waited for them to increase the distance between myself and them. Also creating a little bit of that distance myself by backing up just slightly. Now we're going to do a little bit of a victory cartwheel because, you know, we got to show off. And again, at this point, I feel like I'm safe. I'm the only one that's going to have a shot. A little risky there. We could have taken a hit from him. But able to put at least 3 of the 4 shots in. And now it's kind of zigzagging to avoid artillery, just to make sure, and just go up behind the wall. I've been shot on the moves numerous times by those wonderful, wonderful squares. At this point, I'm kind of like debating what to do. Should I go kill Artie, or should I stick around the base and try to continue picking them off? And then my mind is basically made up for me right here. One of them gets on the base, and I know it's a 3-minute cap timer if only one of them's on the base. But I know the Ag Panther was around there, and I'm making a guess that the Charioteer was around there as well. Just an educated guess. So if all 3 of them get on the cap, it's a minute or so cap timer. And if I don't go back right away, there could be an issue, especially since there is some decent cover on that cap circle where from the angle I'm coming, I can't really spot them very well or have very good line of sight onto the base, basically, to take my shots if I do spot them. Which you will see that, by the way. So I'm just taking a little bit of a long way. I didn't want to go straight to the castle because, again, I didn't know where they all were at. Right now, you only see 2 of them in the cap. But again, I figured the charioteer was somewhere around here. And it turns out the charioteer is actually on the cap, and the cruncher is, well, back here. So, again, we have the APCR rounds loaded, which is good, just to make sure we secure the kill on him. And then we're going to reload as quickly as possible and get back and hopefully spot whatever on the cap. I know what's on the cap. It's going to be the charioteer and the Jagdpanther. So we basically have to just rush in and see if we can light one of them up and hopefully get a shot into one of them, at least to reset the cap momentarily. And I'm trying to do that. I spot the Jagdpanther and try to snap a shot into him. It misses. Snap a shot really quick into the Artie, because why not? Unfortunately, we take a hit from the Jagdpanther, and we go for the charioteer, and we just barely get there. Really, you could have just shot the Jagdpanther, I believe, there. And at this point, I'm trying to figure out what the Jagdpanther is doing. In terms of, is he going to rush me? I know I'm a one-shot. He knows I'm not. There he is. He's still sitting still. And again, I kind of wish I could just load my 3 APCR rounds looking back at this because he's only on 400 health. But I still like to have that extra round just in case one bounces or takes that weird, just gets eaten by track or something like that, per se. So now it's just kind of a guessing game, hopefully picking the right direction. I could go down a low ground here, but I choose not to because in the water my tank's going to turn a little bit slower. It's going to decrease the mobility and going to kind of limit my ability to get away. Now, I say that, but it could be unexpected. It all just depends on trying to choose which direction you think he's going to go. So, again, we put a shot into him while he's looking the other way. And now we see he's just straight on rushing me. And I'll be completely honest, the speed right here of the Jagdpanther caught me off guard a little bit. I don't play against tier 7s very much. Or at least I don't play against Jagdpanthers. It seems like very much. It's not a tank I really encounter a ton. Don't know why that is, because the German TD line is fairly popular. But it's just not a tank I usually fight that often, or at least seems like I go against. So almost died there. Could have died. Again, I just was a little caught off guard. And instead of doing the same kind of deke, we're going between the 2 corners. We back off a little bit. And then come around the same kind of corner, but from a different angle. So the different depth, I guess. So he had to readjust how far he's shooting. And it works, pays off, and we're able to take him off the board. So again, in those kind of situations, it's just about keeping them guessing. Yeah, I could do the left or right there, or I could fall back and then do the left or right and be a little more sneaky. So we're able to pull off the win with 3,800 damage. Not bad. Decent result. Not the 6,000 damage, or 4,500 if you don't count the mutant in the last one. But still a really good game. Hopefully you got something out of that from the initial talking point of just not always, or just being cautious about using the same positions over and over again. Again, not saying you shouldn't, but just something to be aware of and mindful of, basically, when you're taking your tanks out. So hopefully you enjoyed, and I will catch you next time. See ya.